Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about once you get your transparency printed out from the printer, the idea is we're just going to burn this onto a screen now. But before you do that, I'd like you to make some adjustments to it. So do some things by hand on top of this photo transparency. So basically what we want to do is we want our transparency to be opaque. So any of these black marks on there that are going to block light. So any of these dots that are going to block light are going to become open places in the screen stencil. So one thing that you can do is you can add more opaque marks. So let's say you wanted to go in here and kind of refine some things. You could add some marks. And Sharpie marker is a good solid tool to use for this. You want to put it on thick. Micron pens work really well for this. And so does India ink. India ink's actually really amazing. It's very much foolproof. But you can add like kind of fine little lines if you want to. You can add, you know, dark ones. You can kind of see there where the Sharpie didn't get on real heavy. That's going to be a problem area. So I want to go back over that and try and make it really dark and opaque if I can. So if I want to add some stuff to this, I can just kind of add some marks. So it's kind of fun to go in and draw over the top of that photographic information. You can use a really thick Sharpie if you want to really darken in an area. And the other thing that you can do is that you can also use really fine point pens, so that'll give you a little bit more detail. Believe it or not, even pencil will do a little something. Like if you might, especially if you make your pencil really dark, Prismacolor pencils, so really dark black pencils will work really well for this. But anything that I'm blocking out now, if it's opaque enough, will end up kind of blocking light. So we'll draw some marks over here and see how these print when I go to print them out. So it's up to you. You can use charcoal. Charcoal is not the most opaque thing. And so if it's not opaque enough, it's just not gonna blow out of the screen real cleanly. And that's just something that you have to decide if you can live with that or if it's gonna drive you crazy. So the other thing that you can do is if you make a mistake or if something doesn't look right, you can remove it. So here the printer for some reason gave me this big splotchy mark. And if I don't want that, I can go in here with a razor blade and basically just kind of scratch it off. So you can use any kind of razor blade that you can get your hands on. A lot of times the X-Acto knives work really well. But let's say I wanted to add some cross hatching in here, I could just. I'm working on the wrong side. That explains it. So yeah. So if you obviously you can draw on either side, but you can see how this just scratches that toner right off there, and these white lines are now gonna kind of print. So I'll add a couple more lines in here. We'll mess around with this. But once we're all set and once you've done your hand drawing on the transparency, then it's ready for you to go ahead and put it in the exposure unit and print it. So that's the stage that we will do next.